Okay, open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So the only thing, I don't have the minutes, I didn't bring with me. I never got home to get them back to you, so. So the only thing we're going to discuss today, which is of importance, is the budget. So what you have in front of you is the fiscal year '25, what we have asked for, or what was on the budget last year, I guess. And what we have also, you have 3 other pages. One is the revenues from fiscal year '25, which is this year, which is very small, the $17,000 number, only because obviously we haven't been selling beach passes yet. Well, 17,000 is a lot of beach passes. Yeah, that's 600 beach passes. And revenue from last year, which you see on fiscal year '24, as $153,653. So we're looking at $180,000 in revenue, plus or minus, give or take what happens, to work with here. So having said that, grabbing the expense, or what we asked for last year, we have something that jumped out at me that is going to be a problem, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, item number 1, non-clerical part-time or temporary. Originally budgeted $70,000. You'll see that we used $69,422.05, 99% of what we budgeted. We did have a $5,000 overtime, which we did not touch. So we're going to need that to open the beach in June, because we can't do anything about next fiscal year at this point. And I think that should cover us for 2 weeks, I think. The incentive, which shows up as 0%, saying, I think everybody got their checks last year. So I think everybody, so that $3,000 figure is gone now, what you see, because that's been paid. I hope everybody got paid. I don't know if everybody got paid, but I'm assuming everybody got paid. Okay. So what's our pleasure on that particular, for personnel services?
What's the total number of lifeguards that we have
Well, from last year or for this year?
from last year?
From last year was 14 guys.
14?
Yes.
And how many of them, do we know how many of them need to be
Okay.
recertified, or?
So I don't know the exact number of people who need to be certified, but what I did do was I sent out an email, not an email, just a text message to different guards and told them where they would be or where they could get recertified, which is Newport Y is one of them.
Yep.
And then Wareham Y, I recommend those. Actually, me, the assistant guard, Danny Barnes, just got recertified.
Sure. Yeah.
A couple weeks ago at the Newport Y. So, but there's right now, as I know, 11 guards coming back. And I'd like to get 2 more guards on board and have a max number of 13. 12 guards would be, full-time, and then 1 guard would be an alternate.
What are we doing for, like, per day? Like, what do you do on weekends?
So
Six
it's
on the
six-
weekend.
It's 6 guards all week and on the weekends.
So 6 every day?
6 every day.
That's what we have to plan for.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if we have 6, we're going to have 6 every day, I'm assuming, this year. So the budget is 6 every day. So we need to increase the budget, because I don't want to work on a 99%.
Sure.
Because I know we
And
discussed too.
raise,
We discussed too, opening up a little early just on the weekends and working on a minimal basis.
yeah, we can't do that this year.
Just for the safety of,
I understand, but we've got $5,000 to open the beaches, that we can't get any money from anywhere else. And that's probably what it's going to cost for 2 weeks' worth of salary.
Because it would be from, like I discussed before, it'd be from Memorial Day weekend, 4 guards, Saturday, Sunday, until we open the beach.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have the money to do it. And we have no way of getting the money. We have $5,000 in personnel services unfortunately. I thought we were gonna have enough money, because typically we did.
Mhm.
So $5,000, which will cover, like I said, 2 weeks, and we open up the second week of June is when we technically officially open, second
Because I know-
set.
We've been opening up a little later the past couple of years, like the week before Fourth of July, which,
Yeah, I mean, we typically opened, it was always the second Saturday in June, and that's what I was planning on this year, so we have just enough money to cover that. I mean,
Could we plan for the next year?
oh yeah, that's just the
yes,
whole,
yeah,
that's the whole,
but-
that's the whole,
yeah,
that's the whole
but-
point is,
Okay, yeah,
we can't do much about this. We have a problem because we run that fiscal year July to July.
yeah,
And unfortunately, if you open in June, we can only use what's on this, left on this budget here.
because like, you know, like I said, it's just a safety thing, all, you know, all the beaches in the area.
I thought we were gonna be able to do that, but I wish I could tell you we're sure we could do that, but we don't have enough money to do that.
well, we could look to budget it for
Absolutely.
the
Next
next,
year.
Well, we want a budget and a raise, so that would be appropriate for, as of July 1st, you could get a raise for this year, but that doesn't kick into July 1st. All our budget's gonna kick in July 1st. So what do we wanna do? What's your pleasure?
and the 14 guards, you said that were returning, if we don't know the total number that are going to get recertified, that's,
It'd be 11 guards returning.
11.
Right now, 11 guards returning.
And that will cover the 6 every day?
Yes.
Okay,
all right,
so I think we're good.
yeah,
I just think, we just have to budget the money appropriately, and obviously we bump up the money.
Because like I said, it would just be 13 altogether, one new probably hiree, and then another one would be an alternate, or serve as an alternate. So say if someone calls in sick, I can call them up, they can come in, something like that. If we don't have enough guards, they can fill that position.
yeah.
This 69,000 covers from July 1st to Labor Day was early last year, so it's about 9 weeks.
Okay,
So 9 weeks at 69,000. Doing some quick math, it's about $7,800
yeah,
a whack, a week. So we're gonna be hurting.
how do we get that out
And we have no expenses that we can transfer either.
of the 5,000?
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Well, we got 5,000, we got 3, no, we don't have the incentive.
I see a couple of
Oh,
things
so we
that,
could use that,
Well, we
well,
can,
if that was actually paid, the 3,000,
no, the 3,000 gone,
yeah,
because that was paid off in incentives. All the lifeguards from last year got
Yeah.
their checks. That stayed. I'm assuming we ate through the whole 3,000. I don't know for sure, but it's not reflected here, basically.
okay.
Uh,
But a good portion of it would be spent, I would imagine. on
Yeah.
Research.
So what we need to figure out, I mean, at town meeting, we can transfer money, but we don't have a lot of money to transfer. If you look down, we'll get to that. So we're
How
gonna
come-
need,
how come gas and oil is so low?
Is there like a general fund you guys can pull from, or
what's that?
is there like a general fund you guys pull from?
We have an enterprise fund, and when you do the budget, we dedicate line items for every thing here. And it's okay to personnel, and there's personnel and there's expenses. You can kind of transfer interchange in the expenses, but you can't put the expenses in the personnel and vice versa. Unfortunately, we're right at the limit with the personnel service, so we'd have to transfer something at town meeting.
Or have a limited staff in the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For the first week or so.
I don't know how we, I think the last one I saw, I thought we had plenty of money. I don't know why we don't. So we got $5,500 basically with the 5,000 and the 577 above
Yeah,
to open the beach this year.
so we just have to work with
Yeah, so I think,
Mike and Dana.
so I think we need to bump from 70 to at least 80
For next year.
for next year.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that'll give you a little buffer, yeah.
Is
When
that-
is Labor Day this year?
I don't know.
It's depending on how Labor Day falls. So Labor Day can't be the first. Yeah, Labor Day's the first this year. So it's early this year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's, Well, that's
I'd be
good,
more
that's good.
concerned if it was the 7th, because that would be another extra week we'd have to
we get a
budget for.
one less week.
Yeah, so September 1st would be our last day then. Right, September 1st would be our last day.
Hey, yeah. So you technically have 8 weeks this year,
Yeah.
9 weeks.
So, it almost,
I know, I think we bumped it up to 80 grand.
Okay,
Anybody have any discussion, any issues?
And that would cover the raises that we're looking to implement for,
Well, give us 2,000 and give us about a 10% raise, give or take, because we're having a short year.
and would it give us enough?
We gotta be
Just-
careful, because we have to make sure we don't stir the pot.
I'm just thinking forward, talking about opening early next year. Does that cover?
Yes, because
expense?
it's, all right, so if we had an extra, so we have $5,000 left over this year,
Yep.
right? So we need basically about 9 to open for 2 weeks.
Yep,
So if we have 9 to open for 2 weeks, that's 4
Plus
out of
that
this, we have
additional.
76,000, which is about a 10%
Okay.
bump on the lifeguard.
okay.
And that's, but that's no raises.
No, it's a 10% bump,
Oh, it is, okay,
yeah.
okay, good. Well, yeah,
I just want to make it clear too, so it wouldn't be the week, it would be starting, Memorial Day weekend, but just weekends, it wouldn't be the whole week, so it'd be essentially 6 days. That's all it would really be.
When's
And it
Memorial?
would just be weekends, and we wouldn't have 6 guards, we wouldn't be on a full staff, we would only have
It's
4
just
guards.
like 4 guards.
Yeah,
Just coverage, just so,
Say it.
just
Right.
coverage
Right.
so there's somebody there.
Yeah.
simple coverage.
So
because-
Memorial Day is the 26th this year.
So it'd be, let's see,
So you would open the 24th and 25th and 26th, is what you're saying?
I wouldn't even open the Friday, I'd just do the
Well,
Saturdays.
that's 24th is Saturday, so 24, 25, that's 3 days.
26, yeah, okay, yeah, then you're right, yep,
3, and then it would be
weekends, so Saturday,
2,
Sunday.
4,
Saturday, Sunday.
7, so that's 9 extra days.
For 4 guards.
Yeah, I don't think we have the money for that. I don't- We're going further down the budget, but I don't think we're gonna have the money to be able to do that
This year?
this year. I don't see how we can, because we have a line item here that really killed us and, that we're gonna have to transfer. We'll get to that, maybe we can transfer out, but it doesn't look good, let's put it that way, because,
But if you transfer out money or something like that, or?
yeah, so that's 3 days, 5 days gets you to June 1st, 7 days gets you to the 8th, 9 days gets you to when we technically officially open,
Mhm.
and then we have a week and a half of opening, and we wouldn't have enough money for that. So basically, we have to pay you for almost 3 weeks, and we don't have the money for that. I wish we did, I thought we had.
Wait, so you're saying, so it would be, I just wanna make sure, 24, 25, 26, that's 3.
3,
Saturday, the 31st, which is 4,
and the 1st,
and, which is, 5.
Yep.
And then 7,
8,
8, and then, okay.
you know,
And 14th would be the 9.
yeah, we might be able to figure something out, but it doesn't look good, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So,
yeah. Well, I think if we announce that the beach is open on, you know, whatever day in June it is,
officially open.
Yeah,
then I think, you know, I don't see,
Problem is, you don't want to start them and then
I don't
stop.
see a huge problem with that.
No, I don't think so
You
either.
know, the beach is closed, the beach is, until it's open.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go 85 just to make sure next year in case something happens. Because it's always better to have more money, because like now, we have less money, we can't do anything about it. I would say maybe 85.
Well, maybe, if that'll do it.
Okay. Let's go down to the other line item and see what we can transfer out. So vehicle repair and maintenance, we had $1,000. The highway department saved us on that, so we still have $1,000.
so is, the Humvee is repaired? No?
He hasn't done anything yet because he
Okay,
won't
but
do
you
it.
are budgeting for it, though?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a budget for it, but
Okay,
if it goes over $1,000, we're gonna be in trouble.
okay. Because I would recommend, I would even try to help the highway department out as well on the mechanic side of things, you know? If I'm allowed to, I would definitely help out.
You have experience with that, right?
Yeah, I have experience with that, with different auto mechanics and so forth, you know? I'm actually rebuilding a '74 Harley Sportster, you know?
I mean, I don't think it's a good idea to use that Humvee because it's not road.
But it's just.
God forbid
it's
something
just-
happens.
It's useful, I'm not gonna lie, it is useful. It's very useful, I mean, in case, say, the gator breaks down, we have some backup. I mean, last summer, we didn't have the gator yet, and there was a woman who split her leg open, and we used that to get to her car, and she could get to, you know, because she then went to the.
Well, I wouldn't expect the Gator to break down, it's brand new, so I wouldn't.
Well, you just never know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
Oh,
guards
we-
take their breaks in the.
we also, yeah, the guards also.
Yeah, we've got an economical solution possibly of that also, but, okay, so the next surface, professional services is a killer.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know where the 12,000 encumbered balance came from. But we're over, we budgeted 19, we spent 20,000 plus, and that's because trash pickup skyrocketed, because that was part of the problem. Porta-johns were a little more expensive.
Yeah, they did go up, yeah.
So we need to budget appropriately.
I haven't got a quote from both of them yet. I
Yep.
need a quote from both of them.
And we have the container down there now as well.
Well, that, believe it or not, that's the cheapest.
That is, what did you say?
It's $249 a month. And we had it for 2 months. That's the best bargain we have down there.
That was a very good deal. Now, let me ask you this, we were using what, Mr. Cesspool before?
Yeah, Leon's gonna check into
Yeah.
some pricing and see if we can go a little cheaper.
Because somebody misinformed me that the other people were not going to do it, so I had to investigate. And Jim gave me Mr. Cesspool, and I checked it with Matt, and he said that they were good. So I went with them, but the previous one was better,
Yeah.
I think. And they said that they cleaned better, they just was a better facility, so I'm waiting to hear from both of
They were
them.
better porta-johns for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
I've heard where at Spindle Rock, they charge more for a green one than they do for an orange one.
Yeah, well, yeah. We had brown-
Really?
The other people had brown ones, and they were much better looking than the orange ones. The orange ones were pretty,
So,
I guess function
Okay.
is the only thing we matter.
As long as they're clean and
Yeah.
but I don't get that.
I'll
So-
contact both of them again and see if I can't get.
So
both
as
of
far
them.
as, we need to bump this up, I recommend bumping it up to 25, because it's probably only gonna get more expensive before it gets less expensive. Okay, going down, postage, we seem to be pretty good on that, and I have to check with the town clerk on how much it's gonna cost the next postage bill. That will be for up to July 1st this year. We're probably gonna be right at, we budgeted 2,000, we spent 1,000. So I would imagine we'd spend at least that for the second half of,
Well,
yes.
we encumbered 1,000, but it
Yeah.
said we expended
Spent.
500.
Spent, well.
that's because we didn't anticipate, previously, they had to send in the application, they sent self-addressed stamped envelope. We
Right.
changed over to the electronic system in which we're mailing them now.
Oh,
So that encumbered balance, that $1,000 encumbered balance was, we had to pay for those.
gotcha.
We're
Okay.
still pretty good, and I think we'll still be pretty good unless the postal service jumps it up again.
They are going to jump it up again.
So, I'll ask the town clerk on that one. Gas and oil, we're pretty good. We can leave that the same. Printing, we pay for the printing. We were right at budget, we need to bump that up a little bit. We spent $3,500. Printing includes the printing of the passes, which is like, I forgot what some, but it's also for the software, or the service that City Hall, or whatever it's called, charges us. So I think we need to bump that up to maybe 4,000. Computer software, that's the license, $3,500 for the license to have the software, so they can charge us to print the passes. I don't think there's anything we can do there. Uniforms and clothing, did we have enough uniforms and clothing for the
Yes.
guys last year?
Yep.
We only spent $500?
I think it's always good to, I mean, it might seem crazy, but to have to be able to give them a new pair of shorts every year.
Exactly,
is,
that's,
Yeah.
because
know.
like that's.
Yeah, I don't have a
sure.
I don't have a problem with that, I just don't wanna make sure we have, I wanna make sure we have enough money to do.
So.
Yeah.
I actually already
Okay.
have that, I sent an email out, I have that allocated, it was just basically, from here on out, hat, sweatpants, a swim trunks, and shirt.
You know how much they were off the top of your head?
So, sweatpants, I think I wanna say it was like $22. Swim trunks was around 25. Shirt, around the same price, and the hat was probably $5.
So maybe if you had $100 per person.
It's 100,
Yeah, so,
almost.
so we're talking, do we wanna bump that up
I would.
to what, 1,000?
Well, if it's $100 per lifeguard, we have 11 lifeguards,
And
and
I
we're
could
looking
be
at
off,
14.
I could be off with the shirt price, I could be a little off.
And it was
with that.
25,
I'm
when I
not
did
entirely
it,
sure. Just- I'm
it
just
came
going
out
off
to
the
about
top.
80 bucks a lifeguard.
Yeah,
So bump it up to 1,000?
okay.
Okay.
Travel, we have $50 for travel, none of us took a junket to Bermuda to check on their beaches, so I think we're all good.
All right.
Miscellaneous, this is, we had $1,900 in unencumbered balances, we're right there. We budgeted 2,000, we have 90 bucks left.
What is that for?
Things that come up unanticipated, things that may happen.
Okay.
Would that be like, say, like if I have to run, say, get something
Yeah.
from Ace Hardware, get trash
We need a new
bags?
sign, or,
Yeah.
you know, a trash bag, or, you know, whatever, batteries for walkie-talkie, whatever it may be. Capital improvement. I haven't gotten an answer on this, but I think this was what left over for the original fund for
Fence?
the fence.
The fence.
I think it was moved into the capital improvement, but we also had to purchase new gates and fix the parking lot.
Which I would think,
But we can transfer money out of here at town meeting to the personnel service,
oh, which would help out, yeah.
if we want. So we could transfer like $5,000 out of here, and that would give us the extra money to do,
The raises? Or
not the raises, but the
Additional
start on the
ones.
weekend,
Yeah,
whatever you
I
want,
like that
whatever
idea.
whatever we're calling it,
Yeah, yeah.
the early start.
Sure.
Uh,
So we would take 5,000 from the capital improvements.
So
that we-
decrease
Right.
that. too.
Well, no, it would stay the same in the next budget, we're just moving it.
From here to here.
Yeah. So we're gonna leave 11.5 as a budget item, but we're moving the 11.5 from
Moving 5,000.
last year, this year, this current year,
Mm-hmm.
into personnel as as a warrant article.
Yeah,
So we're keeping that the same, right?
and that.
That's,
will-
that's had nothing to do with the budget, it's got everything to do with transferring it. So,
That will allow them to open early this year or next year?
this year,
This year,
we
okay.
can transfer it, as long as we have town meeting in May.
Yeah, so then you would be able to,
I believe it's May 6th.
yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we would definitely be able to.
Well, unless there's a pandemic or some other thing, you know. But, so if they know what, it'll be available the day after town meeting, whatever day that would be over. So we would have money for May to start.
great.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't anticipate anybody voting against it, but who knows? Which is the reason we have an enterprise fund, because we used to have that problem at town meeting. Somebody would get up, take all our money and put it somewhere else.
Would you be able to use it this current year though?
The capital improvements?
For the money that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Transfer.
Well, we were going to, because we were gonna do, there was a request from the selectmen to do some cleanup of the parking lot, and we need to fix some of the bays, because people have backed over the railings and knocked them off, and we had a young gentleman who decided to remove all those so he could try to drive around the parking lot at night one day last year.
Now, I have a quick question myself. I had a meeting with Dana, and she was suggesting that, for the gates, like electronic gates, just wanted to like go into that a little further.
So I just did a little research and there are gates out there that you can control remotely, and that are, you know, very modern and digital, and they can raise up and down, and you can time them so that they open at a certain time, close them at a certain time. Is that something that you guys have thought about possibly?
We have thought about automation, and, you know, even with beach passes, you know, have a card or a fob or something that, you know, they wave and the gate opens. The problem is, the busiest time is when there's nobody around if something goes wrong, like on a Saturday afternoon. Who, when the thing breaks down, who do they call?
Yeah, I think as long as it was able to
No,
open and stay open.
But actually, like,
Yeah.
I did research, and you can control it from your phone in some of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then if it breaks, you just call the police, and they would come and take
Yeah, it would
off.
be like a door, like your
Like,
your
yeah.
doorknob.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
I mean, I can push the
I mean,
doorknob.
yeah, I mean,
on
you have to look at the expense.
And my son in
I did,
Dartmouth can look at me on his camera.
Then you have to-
I mean, it's
Yeah,
fabulous.
like,
Oh, no, I can look at my dogs in the cellar.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, you can- and
Me too.
She has the expenses, I think.
yeah.
so if somebody were trapped in there at night, they could push the button and you could open the gate from your house.
So
That would be
for-
better than going there.
For
Yeah,
my research, basic systems start at around 500 to 1,500.
For a gate?
More advanced systems can be 2,000 to 5,000.
Per gate.
I'm guessing that's per gate.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 gates. 1,
There's 4, I think, right?
5. You gotta cross the street too.
Oh, yeah, Baby Beach.
I know our neighbors next to the boatyard, the yacht club, has one. But what they have is
They have
a
the-
steward that's there, so if there is an issue, he goes over and he, manually
Man.
opens it. I think the concern, I think it's valid, is if it didn't work on a Saturday morning, we'd have cars lined up,
Yeah,
from
oh no,
there
they'd be
to-
backed up to the bridge and
to
there'd
the
be,
bridge?
and the police not necessarily being able to get down
Yeah.
there in a timely manner.
But there must be a way they can do a manual.
I'm sure, I mean,
override.
I would,
Some sort of override,
I
if
would-
the guards are there.
and the
They
other,
could just
Exactly.
open it,
I mean,
yeah.
one of us can run down real quick, open the gate, just let.
yeah, as long as there was access, we need a couple people to be able to be in control of it.
Yeah,
It would save me a lot of,
I mean, they're 24/7.
save me a lot of time and aggravation. If it worked as well. We do have a power source. I know it'd be hard to get it down to the fourth bay, because the last pole is right there at the baby beach.
Well, would there be any way to rearrange so that you only needed one gate, for example?
One gate in, one gate out.
Yeah.
So have the parking lots.
You probably could,
Well, I
think
mean,
parking-
how, is there a way to do it
to reconfigure.
without losing spaces? I don't know, I'd have
I
to,
would say that would be more convenient, because I know one of the bigger problems is when somebody pulls in a bay and there's no parking spot, and they're trying to back out, and somebody's coming in, and it turns into,
well, that's another problem,
Yeah, but I don't know if
but I don't know, I
you
don't,
can't get people to park perfectly, ever. And
No.
the concern would be, there's some idiot park in front of the gate, there's some idiot park, so nobody else can get in, we have that
yeah,
problem now,
well,
where
I
somebody
don't know.
parks.
But if you can get,
It's hard to reconfigure that parking because there's no painted lines. If you
I know.
had, there was a way of painting lines so that people would know, okay,
No,
this absolutely is a parking spot, and this
Yeah,
absolutely is
You
not.
could never pave it down there,
Pave it.
correct, because of the environmental.
I don't,
That would, yeah, that's a whole different
Yeah,
issue.
it's a whole story.
well, okay, well, just thinking.
That was, yeah, I mean, it would be, for circulation wise, it would be kind of convenient. I just don't know logistically how we can, the baby beach side is always a disaster. Once that starts getting full, it turns into they park down the middle, and then it's just nobody can get in and nobody can get out. And if somebody's on the beach, it's like, good luck if they boxed you in. And again, it's hard to paint sand. We tried the boards on the sand, that didn't work very well.
Not-
So if we were interested in entertaining the idea of changing the access to something that was electronic or, a gate
I'd be
type
real
system,
interested in doing it.
how do you go about doing that? Is it something that we'd have?
Well, that's a capital improvement.
All right,
You could take it out of capital improvement and say, we're gonna put,
Oh, yeah, all the gates, they'd all have to be new
Dana,
gates. But they make gates.
how did you
that
get those prices?
Slide,
So I researched online, and I also looked at the different popular brands or companies that offer them, such as LiftMaster, Somer, Nice, or BFT. So you can just easily
Okay.
research those companies. and
Because,
what they
yeah,
offer.
there's a lot of people, like I just came through a parking garage where you have that same thing.
Yeah.
The issue would be, I'm sure that's the cost of the gate, and then the issue is the installation.
sure, yeah.
So it would be, have to be a bid item, probably. Have to be a bid, and,
Everything's a little more expensive when government's doing it.
yeah, well, they stop paying
Yeah.
prevailing wage, and it doubles the price of everything, so. But we could budget for that, or at minimum, at least look into that, because the gates have to be replaced. There's 2 gates that are functional, I will say, at this point in time.
I'd be happy to look into it and do some more research if you like,
Yeah.
and could just present it to the.
Because the installation
committee.
cost would be the more, I'd be more concerned because you're talking hard wiring and all these other things
Sure.
that happen. And then we do have internet connection down there because that's how the camera works on the parking lot. So there is an ability,
Yeah.
and maybe we have a remote. Set, I don't know how they work, whether if they do a Wi-Fi thing or they do a hardwire thing.
Right, I bet, like, typically when I organize the playground, a sales guy comes out on site and will look at the space and give some recommendations. And if we have the information about if it can be wireless or hardwired, like you said, he would be able to give us. some
Because it'd be
insight
great if I could see the parking lot and be able to close bays at night when people are gone.
yeah.
there.
The
Yeah,
biggest problem is when I go down there, there's always like 1 in the 1 first bay and one in the third bay.
Yeah.
And then when you decide to take the guy in the first bay out, two more people come in the third bay and, because then you could let them, then the police could let them out, because that's the other problem. If I'm not available to go down to let somebody out,
If it
A-
could be done
a squad
remotely
car.
through an app,
yeah,
and you
squad
can,
car
like,
could.
one or two people administrative use, such as the police and yourself,
You
or,
could do it from
Yeah,
your
we'd have
bed.
to look,
yeah.
we'd have to look into it. It is a hostile environment down there where things tend to corrode pretty fast because of the sand and the salt.
Yeah.
So that would be something to consider.
Probably the aluminum gates, I'm guessing, right?
But I'm talking about wiring and everything. It's just,
We'll go underground with the wiring, right?
that's what we need to know.
Yeah.
But
Would you like me to research it,
Yeah.
and I can come back to you
Yeah.
next meeting? with
Yeah,
some
I would think that we should consider it, because we have to replace the gates. The second bay gate is a disaster. I've repaired that more times than I've ever wanted to do it again. The one in the fourth bay now is the best one, because they just put the new poles.
Exactly, yeah.
That one works the best now. That used to be the worst. Now it's the best.
But I have to believe, I mean, if we have $11,500 allocated in that budget, right?
Yeah, but
It
that's
would
what
be a
we,
lot more than $11,500 to take.
let's say we
care of
went
just everything
Mercedes
else.
here and it cost $2,500 per gate. That's
Yeah.
10 grand.
Yeah, for the,
Without
yeah.
labor, installation, and all the other stuff that goes with it.
It's just for that small piece of fence, how much was that? That was like. pretty
You
expensive.
could get creative and ask for a business sponsor and
Sure,
put a sign
sure,
out there
yeah.
saying, sponsored by.
That turns
Yeah.
into a different problem, though, with the selectmen, because the selectmen are
I think
technically in
beginning the
charge.
process makes sense, though. I mean,
No,
if we can
absolutely,
do the right-
absolutely,
Yeah.
because it's,
Well, at least you get a gate that can be hooked up to a
Something.
remote.
even if it was a timer, right,
Yeah.
you know, even,
Yeah,
you
some
know.
of them have that capability.
You know, the problem with timer is, you know, somebody will complain that, I was in the parking lot and it shut right on me, and, you know, and they go through it.
Well, they have
Down there.
sensors so that they can't
have-
do that.
You have cameras down there in case someone does go through it.
Doesn't help, trust me. When we catch people doing it, it doesn't help. So do we, I guess it comes back to the budget, do we want to bump that up?
Do we have the?
Right now, we're transferring 5 out, so we'll have 6, let's say we have 6 left over. If we bump another 11 and we carry that over, we'll have 17.
Yeah.
That's if we don't do any landscaping that was requested by the.
Yeah, it's difficult to say, yeah, this is what we would need in order to, do a project like that, because
Well, I
I
would
imagine the labor, it would probably be
Yeah, that's what,
upwards.
it's like the
of-
fence
Yeah.
tripled in cost.
Yeah.
300 feet of fence tripling in cost because you have to go prevailing wage.
When is, your budget meeting with finance committee?
I haven't set that yet because we haven't done a budget.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, I can try and get some more information for you before that meeting.
If you can get it as soon as possible, because it's not going to be this week, and I would assume it's not next Tuesday or Wednesday.
I would just have to arrange someone to probably come on site to see the info, or the space, but I can get the info, the basic info.
Because we're always last because we have an enterprise fund and we always cover it, so there really is not a lot they can say.
Okay.
Like,
Well,
they can't
I'll
tell us
do my
no.
best to get it to you in a timely manner.
The only people that can tell us no are the selectmen, so.
And how many total gates would you be wanting?
Well, right now, there's 4 bays plus the Kitty Beach parking lot would be 5 total.
Okay.
But I would, just throwing it in there, I think some planning would have to be involved in terms of, how many gates do we need? Can we rearrange things so you can get away with 2 at the main beach and then maybe 1 over at the river side there, the baby
Well,
beach?
you definitely need 1 on the riverside, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you're saying 1 entrance, 1 exit,
Yeah, oh, that's right, yeah,
you'd only need 2.
yeah,
But then you have to reconfigure the whole parking lot.
yeah. and it would
Well,
be
we can go
traffic.
look.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's,
Well, we don't want to lose any spaces.
sure. If you had 1, you may even pick up some spaces,
Yeah.
But you lose.
Yeah.
Because of the
You gotta
circular
get-
traffic.
you gotta get
lo-
from-
You have to have enough width to get.
from
too
the
far by,
rows
And
to
then
the
you
gates.
lose parking spaces.
Sure.
if you have if each gate has its own row, then
Yeah, it makes,
you'd have to rearrange it.
Is that something that the town, like the planning department or somebody can look at the space and say,
we can all look at space. I can
Yeah.
plot it out and we can look
Yeah,
at it. I mean,
I-
the problem with a circulation road to go around so you can get in and out,
yeah,
is it eats up a lot of space.
Yeah. All right.
Sure.
I like the idea of starting the
The
process.
single lines is the best way to do it, because it maximizes the space per parking.
I would say if we do have the money and we can allocate the additional.
Yeah, we can
funds
look
and stuff.
into it, and it may, if we need, because we can go, actually, if you can get a ballpark, we can do what we did to the fence. We need $20,000, go to town meeting and take it out of our slush fund,
Okay,
and as a warrant article for the fences, and leave capital expenses alone on the budget.
okay.
As long as we do it in enough time, 30 days before town meeting. And again, I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem to do it.
Hello. Have a
You're
seat.
here for another meeting at 5:30, right?
I am.
Have a seat.
You're here for the offshore, I
Offshore
don't-
Wind Advisory Committee.
whatever.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that that it's set up, okay?
Okay. We'll be out of here shortly. Okay, so we'll leave that alone. Where were we? I'm lost now. Okay. Additional equipment, $700. That's usually life-saving stuff and EpiPens and that kind of stuff for the lifeguards. We
Yep.
only spent $360, we allocate $700. I don't think we need to do anything. The other two articles you see here, 6,005, 6,006. One was the $15,000 for the purchase of the land. We only spent 12. And the other is the fence, which we haven't spent yet because the contractor has not signed the contract yet. So we may have to award it to the other contractor who bid,
Yeah, we
because it's got to be done
Yeah.
before April.
Yeah,
I'm not waiting
April.
another year. I am not waiting another year. If we don't hear from the guy by February,
why,
we're gonna award it to I don't know why he hasn't signed the contract and sent it back. They sent it out in December.
probably workload, you know, he's probably saying, I'm not gonna fit this in.
It could be a workload thing, but it was explained that sometime after November, we wanted the fence
Yeah.
constructed because that's the quote-unquote slow time of the beach.
Yeah,
And we have to have it in before the
What, April?
plovers or anything else
Overs
comes
in-
back.
In April or something.
And I don't want to wait till March and then try to squeeze it in 3 days before April 1st and
What
turn it in.
company are you going with?
It was Southeastern Fence.
That's who we used for the playground. They
But
were
Paul
great.
hasn't gotten back to me, and he hasn't signed the contract, and I'm
boy.
getting a little, and it's been
I
since
can help with
December.
that too, if you want me to try and.
I've called him, and I know everybody's busy.
Sometimes you have to talk to the receptionist and they don't know.
Oh, no, he's got my cell phone, and I've got his cell phone. But I'm sure, like I said, they may have a big job, and they're busy and everything like that,
Sure.
but it's gotta be in before April 1st. I'm not going another year without that fence being in.
Yeah, who was it? Joanne, who ran the Tiverton Building Department.
Yeah.
Nothing
No.
got done without.
So those, we don't touch either of those articles, those are just the way it is. So, apparently from what we've added $22,000 to the budget.
I'd like to bring up one more thing, actually.
Yeah.
Just the one lifeguard stand that's
Got it,
rusted
yeah.
away.
yeah,
That's the only thing, we do need another, I mean, the light stand that's made out of aluminum, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
We definitely need another stand.
Yeah, the other one's in tough
Be a
shape.
tennis shop, like after you're done.
I'll ask Chris if, there must be somebody who can, and
My recommendation, maybe get something like the resin, like the plastic resin, I mean, because that will never really decay with the salt, I mean,
what are the,
I don't know the prices, but I just.
no, it would be a good idea, but they're also very light and very easy to move.
Yeah, they blow,
Well-
things blow away.
Things blow away or people haul them away.
Yeah,
how much does it, I mean, how much would it cost for a new lifeguard stand? I'm sure we could,
I looked into it, because the same people we got the picnic table chairs, the name escapes me, they weren't very expensive. You can get one really fancy that's really expensive, but I mean, the basic chair is not that expensive.
That's all it is, basically.
And I prefer that they be made out of something beefy.
Exactly, and something that's not gonna, erode to the salt.
yeah.
Yeah, well, again, it's hard to, even the aluminum one is,
It's not as bad though, like,
Yeah.
it's, you can definitely get a few more years out of that one.
yeah.
I just looked it up, it says aluminum lifeguard stand, price range is anywhere from 1,500 to 4,000.
Yeah,
Basic models may cost around 1,500 to 2,500.
right. Do you have a vendor, we have a vendor out of Florida who we get the picnic tables from and everything.
I don't have a vendor for picnic tables.
I
so
can't
we
remember their
never
name,
had one of
it's
those.
like Park Equipment something or something like that. I can look into it on the website, but it wasn't very expensive to get a new chair. We can build that into the capital expense.
I think that makes sense. We could also reach out to Diamond and see if,
They made both those chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
That
You
could
could make another one. Yeah, they could make another one. That's a very good idea.
yeah,
They get a lot of requests like that though now.
Oh, yeah.
Before it was, the welding class, now the whole world is going to them to get their houses built and their cars fixed and, for obvious reasons. I mean, it would be a good municipal project. Maybe we reach out to them and ask.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
It doesn't.
Probably would make it cheaper.
who would make the ask? Is that one of us, or,
You want me? I can.
Sure.
Yeah. I forgot the guy's, who's our representative on the vocational school district? Does anybody know who our representative is, vocational school district?
Says Tom
Picture.
Regara, I don't know.
That would be someone to get involved.
yeah,
I don't know who that is, but. So if we add $22,000 to the current budget, or last year's budget, you're looking at basically $150,000 in budget with $180,000 in revenue.
so that,
So we're gonna be okay. The finance committee, we're not gonna go to the town, because we really can't go to the town.
great.
So if we're all good with that, these numbers, and that may change if Dana comes up with a price.
Paul Jennings.
Paul Jennings, yeah, so that would be someone, do you know Paul, Dana, at all, by any chance?
Paul who?
Paul Jennings is a vocational, school committee, basically, and he's the Westport representative, so for Diamond, he represents the town of Westport.
Do you have his contact info?
I do not, but I'm sure we can get it from
Okay.
somebody. He's elected, they are elected, so I'm sure we can get it, and maybe we get him involved.
Okay, great.
'Cause it probably would be cheaper, and again, it's a good municipal project.
I'm sure they'd be glad to do that too, because some of our guards are from Diamond. So.
Like I said, I know every town and they get deluged with, like,
Oh,
especially the property.
even the wooden ones are fine,
Yeah, a pressure-treated wooden one would be
they're
fine.
pretty heavy,
They're pretty heavy, and it would last a long time.
and they last fine.
But in a worst-case scenario,
The only problem with things that burn,
yeah,
Yeah, well, you're,
Yeah,
So we're
pressure
talking
treated
pressure
rubber
treated
bleach.
wooden ones or an aluminum one?
Yeah.
I would want aluminum would be the
Yeah.
best
It's
option.
first choice.
but if.
Even steel would be better than, I think,
But I think
pressure-treated.
there was a guy named
We
Bowen
can't use
who
pressure treated.
ran the shop at Diamond, do you
There
remember?
was a guy, I forgot his name.
Bowen, does that sound right? He lives in Little Compton.
It was the guy that ran, God, I can't think of his name.
You can't,
Ran the wood shop.
you can't use pressure treated.
I would imagine that the school committee
Temporary
members.
I like to bring up too,
Not 10%.
99.9% sure. Horseneck has the plastic-
Quit being conservation.
I know.
So I mean, if they're not gonna get stolen from Horseneck, I don't think it would happen at.
Yeah.
Because that's all we would.
What's that?
It's just something, the plastic resin ones, I'm pretty sure Horseneck has those, so it'd be just something to think about as well, because they can get pretty heavy, the plastic resin ones. I mean, I know what.
I'm sure
Yeah,
the concern is because we had the steel ones, they dragged them into the water
yeah.
a couple of years ago, and
Because
then we had them, they loaded them in the back of a pickup truck, and they had a car going up 88. That was before we locked the gates diligently and did all the things we do now, and, gates are being
They used
watched.
to take them and put them on Elephant Rock.
Yeah,
But
you
they're
know.
pretty heavy, so I mean, I think. it
We'll
would
see
be
what we can do
something
about that, but
to look into.
that's a possibility, but we could possibly buy one, Is there anything else you need?
No, I think that's pretty much.
We should ask that before we went through the whole budget, but.
Yeah, I think there was some miscellaneous items that he had brought up.
Just like,
Yeah, those
Like
are the big things.
those were pretty much the big things that I was
Yeah.
kind of worried. I mean,
Because
there's miscellaneous
realistically, most everything is covered in the budget items, like
Exactly.
miscellaneous expenses and
Yeah,
that kind of
so
stuff.
if those are covered, then we should be,
Yeah,
no.
no. How you doing? This is the beach committee, but I know you're here for offshore. Yeah, you're in the right place, but not till 5 o'clock.
Coming soon.
Coming
Not
soon.
now.
Now, the raises are.
That's the next one, okay.
And so forth, correct?
Yeah, so we've built in the raises, and we built in more money for,
Yeah.
hopefully, knock on wood,
Starting and so forth. Yeah, so everything's covered for that. I'm good.
So, I think, because we did raise the passive last year, and it did add a little bump to our revenue. But we're kind of a prisoner to whatever the revenue is, basically.
I actually like to mention one more thing too, I just thought of it, I mentioned it to Dana. One thing that could also make the beach money too is like maybe like a junior lifeguard like camp during the summer. One of our lifeguards take like high school age kids to, you know, just, show them what we do, go through different training exercises. It would be probably for like 8 weeks, you do 2 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, 9 to 12, and, you know, you could charge for that, and then we would have a steady stream of guards coming in. We could pick one of the guards at the end of the year to become a lifeguard, get them certified, and we'd always have a steady stream of guards coming in, so we won't have to worry about it.
So that, if the recreation department is
Yeah.
managing that
Mhm.
and providing that with the administrative aspects of the software, that might funnel back into recreation.
Exactly.
But it would provide a nice venue to train guards and get them excited about
Yes.
being a guard.
Yeah.
And basically pass them on to
Exactly.
an employment situation
Get
as
to know
kids
them.
are aging up and out.
I think South Shore does that.
South Shore
Yeah,
does the same exact
yeah.
thing, that's where I got it from, because I started off doing that as well,
And
and
that's
it's such a good idea.
something we definitely try for this summer if we want.
Yeah, yeah, I think he's in.
Well, I don't think there's anywhere in town that has swimming lessons for young kids.
So
Is there?
private places do it, like private
Where?
homes and,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if it's
swimming,
public now.
No,
because I know they used to do it at the,
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter
the
swims
harbor.
at a home, where she
mom.
runs it out of, and then I know the Y in New Bedford has lessons.
well,
I remember
it's-
Jody
but
Flamm
I think
when I was-
swimming, you know, in the river or the ocean.
I sucked at it.
Well,
I mean, I've
if
never-
I
I
can
can't
find
do
guards and
breaststroke
people to
or-
run it and permission to be there.
Well, probably Baby Beach, right? That would probably be
Yeah,
the
that'd be a
best
good
source
place,
there.
but
Baby Beach would
I
be
think,
the best case scenario for that.
and that would be a way to,
My
you
daughter
know,
just got.
Oh, yeah, just keep us.
if you
steady.
had a guard,
Yeah.
We just need a guard
She
at
was
Baby
actually
Beach
in.
though.
Well, to probably just do that.
well, there would be, if you had a guards
It would be for that time
that
period, and then-
wanted to work, you know, overtime and be a swimming instructor at a beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, it would, I think it'd be a great program.
Yeah.
People used to do it at the
Yes,
harbor,
they did.
Well, they
but
did
nobody
it,
does it now.
And like I said, it would
Nobody.
just be a steady, we would never really have to worry about guards because they would be word of mouth. We would just have
And-
publicity just from that.
And, you know, we
Because,
have
swim-
the sailing program, and we make the kids pass a swimming test, but if they don't know how to swim, what do you do? Where do you send them?
Because the swimming lessons were always on the kiddie beach,
Yeah,
because of the, you know,
Oh, it's
no
safe.
waves.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
No waves, so it was easy, and they had a float there, and that was before they moved the road. I took them when the road used to run along the water,
Yeah.
a long time
And they
ago.
used to have that
But
raft
it's
out.
not done.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll present this to Jim.
Okay.
I think he'll be okay. You're gonna find out about the gate?
I will find out about the gates and the diamond,
Yeah, if you need any help,
lifeguard stand.
like I said, I would call, Jim probably has Paul Jennings' contact info.
Okay.
I would just, you know, he's our, kind of our rep, the rep on the board, so.
And do you need me to help inquire about the fence, try and get that going?
I'm gonna call Paul again tomorrow. I just don't know, I'm sure he's busy.
Yep,
Cause I'm not gonna go another year, I don't care if I have to dig
Right.
the holes. I am not
Right.
gonna go another year with not having that fence
Yeah,
there, because
yeah.
the neighbors have been more than patient for 5 years now,
yep.
waiting for that, so.
And I just had a question, moving forward, so recreation will be taking care of the human resource.
The HR part of it.
Aspects of,
I don't think,
A little
was
big
anything,
right now.
was anything ever decided, I thought it was supposed to be brought up at the selectmen's meeting 2 weeks ago, or when we had
So
the
as
meeting.
of last week, I'm at 32 hours.
yeah,
And so that's up from 30 hours.
That's the
So-
5,000 that we give to the
Correct.
recreation.
So, but, like, there's nothing in writing about what my duties are yet.
Yep.
I think that's something that we can kind of figure out organically. I'm happy to help wherever.
Well, it'd better if
can.
we had it in writing, because I don't wanna say, hey, you know, Dana, we need, those guys, they need painting. Can you run down there on a paintbrush on Saturday, and, you know, I don't wanna turn
So,
it.
so Jim had asked me to reach out to Michael and just like chat with him. We had a really good meeting today. That's why I wanted to come here today too, to just like, you know, learn more. So I'm here. So if you guys need me, and I think starting earlier rather than later with getting the guards all set up for the summer would
Yeah.
be great.
super.
I don't have a problem with that as long as we have the money. And the problem, is, you know, this year we're at 20,000, we get 20,000 buffer, and we do have a little nest egg but we've been tapping it, we tapped it for basically $64,000 for the purchase of the land, which, you know, anytime we get a chance to buy land, and they practically gave it to us, we're gonna jump on it, so.
Would now be the time during, you know, the budget cycle and planning for next year to possibly bring up, like, you know, when the police ticket cars at the beach for not having a pass or a parking pass, I know right now that those funds go into the general fund, right?
Right.
And I had brought up one time before the idea of possibly a percentage of that coming to the beach to also help the beach. Maybe now is the time to bring that idea up again, even if it's just 5%, 3%, it could give the beach a boost with having to get things done and planning for the future.
Right, and I don't disagree with that. The problem we have is we have people who want to come after our enterprise fund as we speak, because I don't want to say it's a major source of revenue, but it's a pretty good source of revenue. It covers our expenses and then some, and it allows us to build a little money to plan, do things, purchase things, get things, that type of stuff. That might be a sore subject in some areas, but yeah, I don't know what the figure was. I know during the pandemic, the monies were like, literally like $100,000 in revenue for parking tickets.
Really?
Like, that's what the parking
Oh,
tickets brought in?
yeah. Oh, no, there was like, they wrote out, I think, one of 2,700 one year during the
That's-
pandemic, because they were
that's
parking illegally.
In the parking, in the lot, people with no permit.
Oh, they didn't care. They had nowhere to go.
Yeah,
So they were gonna park illegally, they were gonna park legally, it didn't matter, they were just gonna park.
and it costs just as much to go to Horse Neck, so that.
Yeah, so they looked at it as a $50 ticket.
Yeah,
is-
well, I wonder, you wonder what you can do about that. Make it-
I always think that we really need to boost, because $50 doesn't I know I've seen people, and then cops have seen people, they'll just, oh, I'll take the $50
If
ticket.
you could call the whole
Bring a van of
parking,
8 people and just go to the beach, just.
You,
split them.
well, you can't,
You've seen that,
a
right?
family of 4 can't go to the movies for $50.
Exactly, I mean, so,
But I
So
think-
you're gonna go on 4th of July weekend, you're gonna go park at the beach, $50 is nothing.
they'll gladly like that.
Yeah,
I thought it was brought up that there's a state law that only allows us with the
parking on roads.
parking up.
I don't know if parking illegally in a parking lot can be.
well, could you call the whole thing a fire lane?
Well, I was wondering if you said it was trespassing.
Yeah,
Yeah, right, yeah, there you go.
There's gotta be a way around it, because, you know, the max is $50 for a parking ticket you can write out. And that doesn't deter anybody.
No.
Yeah,
You know, the handicap barely deters people down at like Beach Avenue.
Yeah,
You know,
That's $300.
$300?
But they still do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you, like I said, if you bump 50 to 500.
And you
it will
pay more
deter
for
people.
littering.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like, that can be $1,000, what is it for littering?
I don't know.
Like,
It's like 1,000.
a lot,
yeah.
more.
Yeah, so maybe we should bring that to selectmen, maybe, I thought we could pass a bylaw or have it, that bumped it as a special thing. So-
call it trespassing or,
And the other thing would be tolling.
I love that idea.
So, yeah, I know, I do too, but it's hard to get tow
Yeah.
trucks.
So
and
my
stuff like that.
suggestion would be to bring up 2 things, and maybe see if you can bump up the cost of the ticket, in general, and then maybe just ask the question, can a percentage of that come to the
It can.
beach? Yeah, yeah.
But they would look, you know, it's been spoken to me before that, well, you're not paying the cops to write the ticket either. In other words, we don't pay the police to write the tickets, they go down, they write the tickets, right? So the revenue goes back to the general fund, which goes back to the police.
Oh, so it all goes to the police fund, or just?
Or it
general?
goes back to the general fund, unless it goes to court. If it goes to, my understanding, if you go to court, they drag you into court over the parking ticket, which is probably rare, then it goes to the state, which is not good.
Different lose-lose situation.
They don't need any more money.
No.
So, having said that, we're approving a budget of $149,830. Have a motion on that?
You got a motion.
Motion by Leon,
Second?
second by Woody. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay,
Good work.
now I'll take a motion to adjourn.
You
because
got it.
We have everybody waiting for the 5 o'clock.
I'll second.
They're waiting for these hot seats.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.